this is Nicole Whitlock with the eCom Sellers Academy. So we're going to talk about 2020. Welcome to 2020. First of all, I want to say thank you all for your patience and your grace and mercy. I apologize for yesterday's training. I was actually on the road and just was not going to be able to make it to my destination in time to launch this training. So I do want to thank you so much for your patience. Let me make sure I am recording. I am. I think I am. So happy New Year, happy New Year, happy New Year, happy New Year. So what we're going to talk about is 2020 planning. We have two planning sessions. We have today's planning session at 1/1, which is today. And then we have another one on 1/6, which is next Monday. So I want you guys to, you're going to have a little bit of homework to do from today's session to carry into Monday's session. And I really want everyone to have the opportunity to make the kind of money that they want to make in their e-commerce business. So let's get started with talking about a couple of things that may help you in 2020. So one of the first things is mindset. I think that's one of the biggest challenges of all e-commerce sellers is your mindset. The fact that we're not always thinking that, oh, okay, this business is not really a hobby, it's actually a business. And there are people that run their business and they do it haphazardly. They're not consistently engaged in, checking their reports or running their numbers or doing research on what's profitable, what's selling. They are random about when they actually do research or when they actually source inventory or when they do anything. And in order to be successful in this business, you have to realize that it's your business and you have to have the right mindset. So you can be extremely profitable. There are plenty of millionaires in the e-commerce space that are making lots and lots of money. And they all started with $25, $50, or $100 doing this business, and they built it up over time. But the strongest thing or the biggest thing is that they had the right mindset. They were able to overcome obstacles, because there will be obstacles in this business. And they were able to successfully, keep their business going, even through all of the ebbs and flows of this business, all the changes in the platform and the changes in the algorithms and, what's hot and what's not, and people jumping on your listing or not. It's just, there have been all kinds of challenges when it comes to running an e-commerce business. It's not just e-commerce, it's really any business. There's always going to be challenges. But the thing about those people who are able to get into the millions of dollars is that they've been consistent, they've been persistent, and they're able to go with the flow. They're able to adjust with the time. And so one of the things that's helped them do that is their mindset. They realize at the end of the day, they may take a short-term gain, they may take for a long-term gain, they may take a short-term loss, and they are able to rebound or readjust their business to overcome that. So at the end of the day, this is your business. This is your business. You're running it yourself. You're the boss. You own this business, and you have to make all the decisions in this business. Even if you have a coach, if you have a mentor, if you have somebody that you're following, at the end of the day, all of the decisions in your business are yours. Whether you take the advice of your coach or not, whether or not you buy products they recommend or not, whether or not you get out there and do the work, at the end of the day, it is your business. And so all anyone can do is give you guidance, give you recommendations, give you suggestions, but you have to make all the decisions and you have to take the action in your business. Even if you outsource 90% of your business, you still have to make those decisions and take the action. So you want to keep track of everything that you do, again, because you're the boss. Even if you've outsourced parts of your business, you have to keep track of that information. So I love this shirt. I've always loved this shirt. This is not necessarily eCom Sellers Academy shirt. It is actually a previous Neo shirt. I love it. And I will always embrace this shirt because I'm the chief everything officer in my business. I run an e-commerce business. I run a training business. And I'm here to help people and I'm here to bless people who want to receive it. But, at the end of the day, I understand that I'm responsible for everything that happens in the business, whether it is the marketing of products that I sell, whether it is the ordering of products, whether it's the money and the purchase orders I have to deal with, the returns, whatever it happens to be, I'm responsible for it. So I take ownership of my business, and I encourage each one of you to take ownership of your business as well. So why are you in this business? I think at the end of the day, each one of us has to figure out why we're doing this business. Why are we even bothering to do e-commerce? You might be doing it because, from a financial standpoint, you need a second income, or you need a side hustle. You may be doing it because you need to keep the lights on, or you need to be able to put gas in your car. You may be doing it because you thought it was fun and it was exciting, and then eventually you realize, oh my gosh, you really can make money doing this. So for whatever reason you're doing the business, whenever you're engaged in the business, you always have to remember, why are you doing it? What is your why? And it should always be present, especially in 2020. We are in a whole new decade. I started e-commerce about 6 years ago now. Yeah, well, it'll be 2014 was when I first started, in January of 2014, actually. And so roughly about 6 years ago, and the irony there. And I'm thankful for it. But my reason why was because of my boys. I have two special needs boys. One is autistic, one has Asperger's. And one of the biggest things that I needed at that time was to figure out a financial solution for their special diet, for their therapies, for a helper to come and help me in my house. And I didn't have the money. I needed the flexibility to be able to stay at home because I couldn't take any more calls from the school about, oh, you need to come get your son, or whenever he would get kicked out of daycare. I didn't have the ability to deal with that. So my why was super strong. It was my boys, and it was the necessity of trying to find a solution to help them. That's why I started. And so you need to think about, what is your why? Are you doing it because it's just a hobby, or do you really have a goal, a vision, a long-term plan for this business? If you don't have a long-term plan for this business, then you really need to sit down and think about that. So from a homework standpoint, since we're getting back together on the 6th, I really want you to think about why you're doing e-commerce. Is it because you don't want to do network marketing, but you need some extra money? Is it because you hate your job? Is it because you can't go out and work? Because I have restrictions myself. Being able to go into an office and work a job is just not as easy when you have to be near your phone or near your home all the time because of your child. So, I know people that are at home because they care for their parents, or they care for another loved one, whatever the case may be. You need to know your why, and that why should be what motivates you to take action in your business every single day. Okay? And that's what you should also be thinking about when you're doing your business and when you're about to quit. E-commerce is not necessarily for everybody. It is it's a simple business. I won't say it's easy. It's a simple business in the fact that the model is fairly simple. You can order products from a wholesaler. You can order products from a business and put your label on it. You can go into the stores and you can buy products. It is a simple model. It is a very simple model. And it is a profitable model because you're technically reselling. You don't manufacture the products. You're really reselling it from every single perspective. Even if you're doing wholesale, you're pretty much reselling. That's really what you're doing. That's what Walmart does. That's what Target does. They don't necessarily, well, now just Walmart probably does make some of the products, but Target makes a few. But the point is that, initially they were just selling, Kraft's products or Procter & Gamble's products or whoever else's products on the shelves. They didn't initially make them. And so you don't make these products. You're really a reseller. That's really what it is. So you need to think about your why and what motivates you to do this business. And why do you want to do it? And I have it in 2019, but it's really 2020. So what do you want to be in 2020? What do you want to do in 2020? What do you want to have? I put those in the correct order because most people say, what do you want to do, have, or be? And it's not really that. It's really, what do you want to be? Do you want to be an e-commerce seller? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Or do you want to be somebody else? Do you want to do things like I do a lot in the community? I am the vice president of a nonprofit, and so I work in the community. And so for me, I want to be able to have the flexibility to do what I can to be able to volunteer in the community. and I want to be able to take care of my kids and be able to keep the lights on and be able to bless others with the knowledge that I have when it comes to e-commerce. And then what do I want to have? Well, of course, everybody wants to have that car that's paid off or the house that's paid for, be able to take vacations. But that is not, the have part of this is not the priority. It is, what do you want to be? What are you trying to solve in your life? And what do you want to do with what you gain from this business? Who do you want to serve? Who do you want to help? And then from there, what do you want to have? Because material things are just material things. So I don't ever start with the material. Material is like on the second, it's the next thing or the last thing really. But what do you want to be? What type of person do you want to be in 2020? What do you want to do in 2020? And if you just want to grow your business significantly so you can quit your job, then that should be on your list for 2020. So I want you to think about your why. One of the things that I also do is that they think about taking a test. Because like I said, e-commerce is not for everyone. I've recommended this test every single year because some people do not have the personality or the mental strength to be able to do this business, because it does require some level of consistency. Some people are impulsive. Some people are very conscientious about what they do. Some people are hesitant and nervous and don't want to take risks. And I will tell you, e-commerce, you are taking a risk. Now, there's different types of risks. You can take some mild risks and just go after the things that you know are already selling, or you can take some risks and try something new. But knowing what type of business owner you are can help you understand why you make some of the decisions you make in your business. And so I always recommend that people take the Strengths Finders test, where you can take the personality DISC test. Those two you can Google. The Strength Finders, I've given you the ASIN here. But go and figure out what type of business owner you are. And that information will help you to figure out, possibly what products, how you should be running your business and what products you possibly should be focused on or selling in your business. So when I say how you should be running your business, maybe you're the type of person that you're a massive procrastinator, or maybe you're a person that is very particular about every little thing. They're a micromanager. There are certain places in your business where, okay, if you're a micromanager, you probably don't want to outsource anything. You want to be in control of 100% of your business. And you should be in control of your business. Everyone should. But there are some areas of your business that you really could let go and outsource. That'll actually help it to grow. Those that are procrastinators, maybe you just need to outsource 100% of your business. And what is the reward that you enjoy? Maybe you just like seeing the profits, or maybe you just like getting the good reviews on the products that you're a creative spirit, and so you come up with new products. So I would encourage everybody to take the Strengths Finders test. Find out what type of business owner you are. And once you find out what type of business owner you are, you can take that knowledge and that information and figure out how you use that to your benefit in your business. How you use that to your benefit in your business. So what will make you successful in e-commerce? We've already talked about your mindset. That's one of the biggest things. Your habits is the next thing that's going to make you successful in e-commerce, and your consistency. I cannot stress enough as we go in and start talking about some of this. Consistency is key. Even when the sales are down, even when things are not moving, even when you're not getting any traction on your listings, consistency is key, because people cannot buy what they do not see. They cannot buy what they do not see. All right. So before I get into this, there's a couple of 2020. I have already talked about a few times about, what are some of the things that you should be selling in 2020. I've taught that in our Academy group, and I'm going to mention some of them to you. So you can make a note. This might be a good place to make a note. So if you haven't already, one thing you want to do for the next meeting is have your why. The second thing is, if you have the opportunity, take the Strengths Finders test, or either take the DISC personality test, so you personally know what type of business owner you are. And it will also potentially paint a picture for you as to whether or not you should be doing e-commerce at all. Okay? Because if it's not for you, then go and do something else that is for you. Okay. So a couple other products that I think you should be thinking about, because we are technically in the first quarter of 2020. And so that's January, February, March. Typically, January, February, March, you want to be focused on, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more later, but you should be focused on things that people are interested in for the spring. Because anything that they were going to buy for January, February, March, you probably wanted to start acquiring that inventory after you send in your inventory for Black Friday, start working on that and get that into Amazon for January, February, March, like around December the 10th, December the 15th, start sending that stuff in. So if you didn't do that, if you didn't start sending in stuff that people might buy in January, then there's still time to get that stuff in for sure. People are still going to buy it. So when you think about what are people going to be buying in January, February, March, I mean, let's just talk about it. Most of the time, they're going to be buying stuff to, help them get in shape, help them to lose weight, help them to get more organized, help them to have more structure in their lives, help them to make progress, help them to focus on their goals. Maybe they have a New Year's resolution. And so those types of products are always going to sell, always going to sell. Everything from fitness mats to fitness clothes to like yoga mats and clothes to different types of exercise equipment. So if you, and water bottles, things that are going to help people eat better, cookbooks and different types of things in the kitchen, things that are going to help people like keep things that are healthy around longer. So storage bags for vegetables, so your vegetables don't go rotten early. So those types of things, think about that. Also think about calendars, planners, goal trackers, things that's going to help people to monitor their goals, things that they can put on the walls. Those are all things that are going to be stuff that people are going to buy. And then in February and March, of course, you've got Valentine's Day, and that one's going to, generate lots of sales. So those things you should be sending in if you haven't already sent in. In January, typically you're going to be dealing with some returns right about now, and you're going to be dealing with, if you're doing Amazon, different adjustments to your payouts that you probably weren't expecting. But just be prepared for that. And then when you get into the end of March, you need to be thinking about sending in stuff for June, July, and August. And when you get to the end of June, you need to be thinking about sending in stuff for September, October, November. So sorry, October, November, December. Trying to get those days right. So you're always one either season or one quarter ahead when it comes to what you're going to be selling, what you're going to be sending in, what you're going to be sourcing. And so you should always try to be sourcing at least 2 quarters ahead. If you can, make a note, 2 quarters ahead. So one of the things that, I always talk about when it comes to what's a habit of a successful e-commerce seller is that they're intentional all the time. The stuff I just gave you, that is information that you can use over and over and over again. And I learned that over time because, you start buying inventory and maybe you bought it too late. So then you're wasting money. You're spending time focused on the wrong thing, sourcing for the wrong thing. So, and then you're wasting time altogether. One of the biggest things that I find with e-commerce sellers is that they're not intentional, that are not successful. They're not intentional with their time, money, and resources. They spend all their time watching training videos over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and not taking any action. You have to not do that. You need to, if you're engaged in watching training videos, watch the video, pause, take action. If you are spending money, be mindful about the money that you're spending, especially when you're starting off. Again, there are lots of people that are successful in e-commerce and they didn't go out initially and take a loan to run their business or their business operations. They didn't invest in boatloads of different types of tools to help them to do all of this research. They jumped in, they got familiar with the platforms, they got familiar with how things run, they got familiar with how things work, and then they made some business decisions. And maybe they did get a loan, maybe they did do some of these things, or they built up their business over time. But they were intentional about their money. What am I spending money on for inventory that I'm buying inventory? Am I getting inventory for free? Where am I spending my money on tools? Is this the right time? In the first 3 to 6 months, I tell everyone, do not, especially if you're not consistent, don't spend any money on tools. because you're going to say, well, I tried that e-commerce thing and it doesn't work. I wasted a bunch of money. Well, you wasted a bunch of money because you didn't use the tools in the first place. You shouldn't have bought them if you weren't going to use them. And then resources. So the resources that you have available to you, there's a lot of free information that's out there that can be helpful, that's proven to be helpful. And then there's a bunch of information out there that is not helpful. The resources that you have, some people will go out and invest a boatload of money in like shrink wrap machines. And I'm like, is that the good use of your money? Is that a resource that you need right now if you're only sending in 2 things to Amazon a month? No, you don't need a shrink wrap machine if you're only sending in 2 things to Amazon a month. So there are ways to do the business without spending a boatload of money on boxes or shrink wrap machines or poly bags. There are just different ways to do the business so you're not wasting money. And then as you get some more capital in, you're able to reinvest and you can make more money. And maybe you could outsource aspects of your business. But be intentional about your business operations. Be intentional about how much time you spend on what. Don't spend a boatload of time just watching training videos and not taking any action. Be intentional on what you spend your money on. Be intentional on the resources that you take advantage of or that you use or that you acquire to run your business. The second thing is always be a student. I cannot stress that enough. You should always be in learning mode. Amazon's platform always changes. eBay's platform changes. Different algorithms change with Google ads, and things just change on every single platform. Things change on the Shopify platform. Things change on the Etsy platform. Things are going to change. Some of them are mild and minor, and some of them are pretty big. But you always need to be a student, always learning about what's changing in the platforms, learning about what's hot. What are the products that are going to be hot coming up? Some of you do or don't know that there's like a toy show that's in, I think it's January, February, coming up pretty quick. And if you don't know that, that's like really helpful information because it's going to give you an insight into some of the toys that they're going to be pushing for this Christmas that's coming up. Yes, I'm talking about Christmas 2020 already. Okay. Build a schedule. Build a schedule, build a schedule, build a schedule. I really do think build a schedule is number one. It should be number one because you cannot build any habits if you don't have a schedule to follow. So a schedule helps you automatically build habits. It helps you automatically make progress in your business. It helps you automatically do the things that you need to do because if you're working from a schedule, you're checking off whether or not I did stuff. Not everybody is able to work from a schedule. Some people don't ever build a schedule in life. But if you have a schedule, then you have a checklist to follow. And if you have a checklist to follow, that's going to help you to be more consistent in your business. And what's going to help if you're more consistent in your business? Well, one, you will start building a habit of an e-commerce, professional. So then you'll build that e-commerce mindset. And two, you will have built in consistency automatically because the schedule drives the habit and drives the consistency. You have 2 wins. And those 2 combined, even if your mindset is not there and you're like, okay, I'm just going to follow this routine, even if you do it sleepwalking, at least you're being consistent because you will eventually get some results from being consistent in your business. The other thing is by building a schedule and being consistent and building that habit, you will actually start to automatically see areas of your business where you can make adjustments, you can make changes, or you can make improvements. But you can't make improvements if you're not actually doing the business. And so, when I talk to people and they get advice from others, and that's awesome that they get advice from others, but sometimes the advice doesn't make any sense to them. I'm like, it makes more sense if you're taking action. I can put you through a simulator of trying to ride a bike or a simulator of trying to fly a plane, but it does not make any sense if one, you didn't go through some of the learning about the bike or the plane, but two, if you didn't really do it. Being inside of a simulator and actually physically doing it, like pedaling your bike and trying to steady the handlebars and trying to keep the bike going straight and getting the bike to move forward, simulating that in a machine, like it's not the same as when you're doing it in real life. It feels different. Different parts of the body, different muscles engage, and different parts of the brain engage. So you have to engage in the activity So when someone gives you a recommendation or a suggestion, it makes sense because you've been doing the business. Like, oh, okay, I get what you mean. So be committed to your business. If this is for you, if this is what you want to do, if this is where you want to invest your time, your money, and your resources, then commit to that. I will tell you, this is a guarantee. It is January the 1st. I guarantee you before the end of January, you will run into, encounter, maybe get a message or email from someone or anyone on maybe 10 to 20 other offers, opportunities, products to buy. It's going to happen. This is outside of just listening to the radio or watching TV. This has to do with you're going to get bombarded in your email inbox. You're going to get bombarded in Messenger. You're going to get bombarded in all these other places. Hey, come sell these phones. Hey, I got this new network marketing opportunity. Hey, I got whatever. There is going to be a whole shiny object thing happening to you. Okay. So be committed to what you're going to be doing. And I've already talked about consistency. So I'm going to skip down to get focused because the shiny object syndrome is going to happen to some people that weren't committed in the first place. Well, I could do this little thing just for a little bit. It's only 1 or 2 hours a week. I can just do that for just 1 or 2 hours a week and I can still run my e-commerce business. If you are distracted, if you're pulled 20 different ways, you being successful in your e-commerce business, there's going to be areas of it, even if they're minor, that will be, will take a hit. So, you can imagine a person that you are a baker. 100% of the time, you're focused on baking. But 10 hours out of the week, you go and I don't know, maybe you're doing barbecue. You're like, okay, baking and barbecue, they're both foods, but they don't have anything to do with each other. So your baking business is going to suffer just a little bit for those 10 hours that you're over trying to become a pit master for barbecue. It's just going to happen. So decide what you're going to do. Try to put the blinders on. Try to focus as much as possible. Do what you can to minimize the distractions and get focused in your business. Every day you should be engaged in an activity about your business. You should be learning a little bit, but don't spend all your time on learning. You should be taking action. And then last but not least, get organized in your business. If you don't know what your stats are, meaning what you're selling, what's moving, what's not moving in your business, if nothing is moving, then okay, you got a clean slate to start with. But once you get this ball going and you start to either send in inventory or list inventory, because you don't always have to send everything into Amazon, you can do merchant fulfill, then you should know your numbers. How much inventory did I send in? How much inventory am I sending in every single week? If I want to have X number of SKUs into Amazon, or if I want to have X number of items listed, how many should I be listing every single day? So you got to get organized. Okay, I'm going to list, 50 new items a day. I'm going to list 25 new items a day. I'm only going to list 10 new items a day, but get organized and be consistent in your business. How much did I send into Amazon? How much do I have left? How many sold this week? Did I have any returns? Am I paying attention to the fact that I have, I sent 10 and all 10 of them were returned to me? That's probably not a good product. Now what has happened to my seller performance? So get organized in your business. Keep your receipts. Always keep your receipts, your invoices, whatever it happens to be. Know who your contacts are if you're doing wholesaling. Make sure that you know where all your logins are to all the many thousands of things that we all have access to. And get organized so that you can be able to pivot if you need to when you notice a problem in your business. If you're paying attention, you'll start to notice them if you're organized. All right, so I talked about learning. That is extremely important. And I don't want you to get lost in the minutia of you can spend all your days on YouTube watching 10,000 videos, because I can guarantee you today, probably about another 100 videos went up on what is the right thing to sell in 2020, what is the most profitable thing to sell in 2020, how to be successful on Amazon in 2020, how to be successful on Shopify in 2020, how to be successful on Etsy in 2020. I mean, all of them, there's going to be like another 100 videos that were loaded up today. There'll be another 100 that'll be loaded up tomorrow. There'll be another 100 that you will get sucked down the vortex. Figure out who you're going to pay attention to if you're going to mentor or follow somebody. Figure out how much time in a week you're going to invest in learning and paying attention to any new information. It should not be, I work in my business for 5 hours a week and I'm on YouTube for 20 hours a week. That's not how this is supposed to work. Or if you're a part of a training program, if you're part of the academy, it should not be, I'm going to listen to these videos, 20 times this week, and I'm going to take action for 5 hours. Watching videos, listening to people, following people is not going to make you money. It is the action that you engage in that makes you money. Whether you hire somebody to do it or not, it is the action. So learning is important. Becoming more knowledgeable about e-commerce, becoming more noticing the patterns of what's selling. There's patterns. There are so clear patterns. When you go into Walmart, I could tell you, like, okay, clearance for Christmas is already out there. We already know that, but also clearance for winter is going to be starting this month. They're going to literally start clearancing winter, and then the spring clothes, they're going to put them out. And I can guarantee you the spring clothes are probably already in the back. They're going to start clearancing the toys that they just got all those toys in for Christmas. There's literally going to be a clearance. And because right before, again, write this tip down, right before Walmart goes through an audit, if that store is about to be audited, and they start auditing their stores January, February, and March. So if that store is about to be audited, about 3 weeks, maybe 4 before the audit, they're going to start putting a bunch of toys on clearance because they don't want to have to keep track of all that stuff. So you're going to see toys that were hot toys go down to some ridiculous price. And those are toys that you may want to buy and hold if you have the space. If you don't have the space, don't do that. But I could, just like clockwork, there are certain things that I know that are going to show up in the stores. Camping equipment is going to start showing up. We already know Valentine's stuff is going to show up. Those are the obvious, but the not so obvious stuff, all the storage bins. Some people didn't even notice. I did a Facebook Live talking about, look at all these storage bins. Why are the storage bins out here? You're going to start noticing all of these little patterns when you are consistent in your business. So pay attention to what's happening in your business and make a note. You should have a notebook with you over the years to pay attention. Oh, in January, these things happen. February, these things happen. March, these things happen. It's not just retail arbitrage. It is, wholesale. So it will give you an idea of when to place your order with your wholesale provider, what time of year to place those orders so that you have access to enough inventory so they don't say, no, I can only send you 2 pallets of that, or I can only send you 100 of those because you ordered too late. So start to pay attention to what's happening in the stores. That's normally a cue. Most of that stuff that's in the stores, sometimes it's there a month, 2 months before they actually put it out inside the stores. It's sitting in the back. And it's just a rotation of take this down, put this up, take this down, put this up, put this on clearance, put this up. So pay attention to that. We have Valentine's Day, and then we have St. Patty's Day, and we got Easter, Mother's Day, and graduations, and Father's Day, and Cinco de Mayo, and Father's Day. Like, there's all of those traditional holidays. We're going to talk about the non-traditional here in a second. But when you're looking at, running your e-commerce business, not everybody sells on Amazon. Some people are making a killing selling on the mobile apps or selling on the Facebook Marketplace. Some people are making a killing selling on Etsy, or some people are making a killing selling on eBay. But you need to figure out, which platform maybe works best for you. And I think some of the information in the Strength Finders may give you an insight into maybe which platform you kind of like. Each one of the platforms are going to have their own kind of guidelines and rules, and, what your performance needs to be or your seller rating needs to be, because they all have some level of hey, this is a great seller, or no, we're taking this person out. Not going to be able to buy anything from them. But you need to figure out which platforms you think you feel most comfortable with. There's so many different platforms. Where do you find your inventory? A lot of us do retail arbitrage. Some of us do wholesale, so you're doing wholesaling, drop shipping. But figure out, where you want to find your products, and we'll talk about some of the places you can find your products. And then, what is your investment? So there are people that have numbers like, okay, my goal this week is to buy $1,000 in inventory, or $2,000 in inventory, or $3,000 in inventory. Those numbers are going to be higher as you get like closer to Q4, and maybe they taper off, as you start up the new year. Because there's again some ebb and flow with e-commerce. And as you go into January, February, and March, maybe what you focus on is what I call steady eddies or replenishables or things that people buy on a regular basis, and increase your percentage of those types of products that people are going to buy on a regular basis. So an example would be today for New Year's, we cooked. I'm with my closest friend in the world. And so I'm at her house and we cooked cabbage and greens. We had black eyed peas. We ate on paper plates. We had plastic cups. We had plastic forks. And so let's talk about all the things that are considered replenishable. Just on the thing that I just named. You got the paper plates, you got the plastic forks, you got all the seasoning. Hello, those are all replenishable. Those are easy. We're cooking in pots and pans. Yeah, people will buy pots and pans sporadically throughout the year, but when do pots and pan sales really go up? Well, closer to just before Thanksgiving or just before, certain times of the year, like when there's tailgating parties or so on. So you'll see certain types of dishes or pots and pans will sell more. So you want to be ahead of those curves and be able to sell those things. So anyway, figure out what your investment is going to be. How much money should I be spending on my e-commerce business every single month? How many inventory pieces based on what I've decided to tackle, whether it's a niche on a specific thing, or if I'm going to sell a little bit of everything, how much money should I be investing in those things? And how much of the inventory should I be trying to send in? How much am I going to try and fulfill myself? And how is that going to work? So a lot of people do Amazon FBA. That's where you send an inventory, you acquire inventory however you acquire it, whether you do retail arbitrage or something else. And you send an inventory to Amazon and you let Amazon fulfill the inventory, meaning someone goes onto the Amazon website, they buy the item, Amazon goes to their warehouse, they pull that item and they ship it to the customer. That is fulfillment by Amazon. And the seller fees on that is just a little bit higher. There is another option. It is merchant fulfilled. And so you could do merchant fulfilled with Amazon, where when somebody buys something on the Amazon platform, your item is listed there. Then when they buy it, you get a notification from Amazon and you ship it to the customer yourself. So those are two options. I want you to know that merchant fulfilled is very common on all the other platforms, because whenever you sell something on eBay, you're merchant fulfilling, you're sending it to the customer yourself. Whenever you sell something on Etsy, you're merchant fulfilling it, you're sending it to the customer yourself. Mercari, Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace, you're sending it to the customer yourself. Now, whether or not you're directly physically doing it, or you're using some type of service, or you're drop shipping or whatever, it is still technically sort of merchant fulfilling, because you're going into some system and saying, ship this to this person, and then somewhere somebody ships it, or you physically have to package it yourself and send it to that person. Either way, it's merchant fulfilled. And then retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, that is shopping for profits. That's really what it is, or reselling or flipping, if you listen to Gary Vee. And that's finding an item at a price where you can make a profit off of it. So if we go back to today, we have paper plates and paper cups. That's a replenishable. Paper plates sell all day. Paper plates sell a lot during the summertime and right before the holidays. Why in the summertime? Because of the fact that you got the 4th of July, people are going out and cooking and picnicking and whatever. I got to throw a bunch of plates away. You got a bunch of kids going into summer camps. So they need plates inside of all the summer camp programs. I mean, I could just go on and on. But the point is shopping for profits. And what you can do is you can go and take those plates. You can buy plates. Maybe you buy them. Maybe you got some kind of coupon, and so you buy them at a discounted rate. So instead of buying your plates for $2, you got them for 25 cents. Then you go and list them on a platform, maybe for $5 or $10. I'm using really low numbers, but you get the idea. Somebody goes onto that website, like, I don't have time to go to the store. I just wanted to show up at my front door. And they ordered the plates and they come in, and now that person or that business has access to the plate. So that is sort of flipping. You're buying something at a low price, either at a store, or if you're doing online arbitrage, you're ordering it online from a specific site at a discounted rate, or not necessarily discounted, just at a lower rate. Sometimes it's on clearance. Sometimes it really is discounted. Maybe there's a coupon code. Maybe you're stacking and we could go into, I'm not going to go that far down the rabbit hole, but the point is there's a lot of different ways to do online arbitrage where you can actually maximize your profits, and also retail arbitrage where you can use coupons and whatever the case may be and maximize your profits. And you resell it on a platform. Most of the time it's Amazon or eBay at a higher rate, and you keep the difference. And then drop shipping and wholesaling. Wholesale suppliers pretty much are drop shipping, but that's where maybe you're going on, I'm going to make up something. Maybe it's a real website, Beds Direct or Mattresses Direct. And so maybe you are listing, you've got maybe got a Shopify mattress store, or you're listing mattresses on Amazon, or you're listing mattresses on eBay, and people are buying them. You've got a wholesale contract. And so when somebody buys it, they place the order on that website, whatever website it is that you're listed on, whether it's Amazon or eBay or whatever your Shopify store is. Somebody buys it off of that website. And then when they do, you get a notification. If you're using a wholesale supplier, maybe they get notified at the same time and they ship the mattress to the customer for you. That's a form of drop shipping. But again, wholesale suppliers, when somebody else is shipping the item, pretty much, or drop shipping is when somebody else is shipping the item to the customer for you. There's a lot of different ways to do this business. I just want you to know that you can be very flexible in doing this business. I had a person that was on my team a couple years ago. She made over $12,000 just in profit, not in just sales, in profit, just doing garage sale Facebook groups part-time, like 1 to 2 hours a day, just like 1 hour a day, 1 to 2 hours a day. It was crazy. And, that's like, she only did it 5 days a week. So that's like 5 hours out the week. And she made $12,000 just doing it part-time. So it's like $1,000 a month, just some extra change for her. And she didn't have to go work a part-time job. 5 hours. I mean, that's not bad, I will say. Okay, so some additional tips. If you got to do retail arbitrage and do speed, I call it speed shopping or speed scanning. If you do reverse sourcing, which is you're going out and you have the information about the things that are already moving, things that are already hot, things that are already selling. So maybe you're using different tools. There's a few tools out there. One of them being Keepa. You know what you're specifically going into the store to buy. You can go in to each store individually, pick up that item if you're doing retail arbitrage, and grab it and come back. You can also place orders with stores in advance. Like Walmart is perfect for that. You can order it online and just do store pickup. So same thing with Target, order online, store pickup. There's a lot of stores, even your grocery stores allow store pickup now. And some people are overlooking the fact that grocery stores allow store pickup. So that's one way to do speed shopping. Another way is just to go directly into the clearance section. You're looking for specific things, and you're looking for things that maybe not everybody is thinking about. Don't overlook your clearance section in grocery. You got the clearance section that you normally see inside of regular Walmart, but think about the clearance section that's in Walmart grocery as well. Think about the clearance section that's in Target. Think about your clearance section that's in Kohl's. Most all stores have clearance sections. So go look at this clearance section. Also look at the end caps. So my mentor, Ms. Nikki Witherspoon, the FBA Ninja, one of the first things she ever taught me was always look at the end caps and the center aisles of every single store. That is going to give you a hint on what the stores have buyers, why they're putting things in certain positions for a reason. Those are the hot items that are potentially going to be moving. So if it's a green towel and it's a green towel and they put it over in the tile section, it's not going to get any prominence. It's not going to get any presence. It's not going to be showcased. But if they put it on an end cap for St. Patty's Day, then there's a possibility those green towels are going to fly off the shelf. But before, they were sitting back in the department with towels. Nobody was thinking about them. So again, the things, if you got to do speed shopping, if you're a person that has a job, you got to go in and get out, look at the end caps, scan the end caps real quick, or eyeball them, and you could just do a video recording if you want to, and then go back and look up those items when you get home. If you don't even have time to pull up your Amazon seller app, just walk through the store, do the end caps, and leave, and you're done. You can go back and do some retail arbitrage later. You can send somebody else to go buy things for you. You can order them online, so you can do store pickup. There's all kinds of ways in which to do this business. And then also, like, we talk about this all the time, like when you're scanning things, if you're using the Amazon seller app or any other app, you scan the barcode, then you can scan it using the image, and then you can type it or you can speak it, so that way you can always be able to find that particular item. And typing it sometimes or scanning it will only bring up that distinct item. But if that item is in a bundle, then, typing, I don't know, Cars 2 puzzle, and then just letting it pull up all of the Cars 2 puzzles, including the ones that are in bundles, is helpful information, because then you can go get all those bundle pieces and jump on that bundle listing and be able to sell that item too. Then online arbitrage, or retail arbitrage, both of them. I always try to stay, if I'm going to do some quick sales, meaning I want to get in and get out, I don't want to commit to a specific product. I want to be able to sell that item fast. I'm going to try and stay in the 1% of the sales rank. We're going to talk about that on Monday, but stay in the 1% of the sales rank. So then that way, you won't be holding onto that inventory for a long time if it is Amazon. If you're doing Amazon, you're doing eBay, whatever. Those things that are selling in the 1% of the sales rank on Amazon will definitely be moving on eBay. Okay. All right. I talked about a real schedule. I think of all the things that are vital, the schedule will help you build the habits, and the schedule will help you build the consistency. So all I want to say about schedule is that there's many different ways in which to do this business, whether you're doing wholesale, whether you're doing print on demand, depending on what you're doing, you can build a schedule for those income producing activities. That's the key. The stuff that is not an income producing activity that could potentially be outsourced or given to somebody else to do, over time, long-term, bigger picture, you need to think about doing that. But the stuff that is going to generate the most income, the actionable activities, those items need to be the things that you focus the most time and energy on. So when I'm doing retail arbitrage, in example 1, it says I'm shopping Monday and Thursday and Saturday for 4 hours each. So that's 12 hours worth of shopping for profit. But what I'm really doing is product research if I'm doing scanning. Or I could have already done some preliminary research on the odd days and do some reverse sourcing when I actually go into the store Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. So if I'm doing reverse sourcing, that means I'm probably going to pick up double the amount of inventory in those 4 hours, if not, triple, if not quadruple the amount of inventory, because I already did the pre-research. You see there? So I could not do any research and literally go into the store blind, any store, doesn't matter if it's Walmart, Target, Dollar General, Big Lots, doesn't really matter. I can go into the store blind, Monday, Thursday, Saturday. And I might be able to pick up 100 items or 200 items. Who knows? But if I'm doing reverse sourcing, I literally could come out of the stores on those Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and at the end of the week have 1,000 items. The amount of profit I can get from sourcing 200 items versus 1,000 items, especially if I'm going after the items I already know are hot and already moving because I did pre-research, that is completely different. That's the difference between making maybe $200 or $500 a week versus making, maybe $5,000 a week, because I've gotten different inventory levels. So make sure you're focusing on the things that are going to generate you the income. Acquiring the inventory and getting it listed, or acquiring the inventory and sending it to Amazon, is truly an income producing activity, because people can't buy what they don't see. Then listing the item, I mentioned that. So what I do is I scan and list at the same time, so then that way I don't have to double back. And then when I get home, you put it in the corner and get ready to package it up to send it to Amazon. If you're going to do Amazon, if you're going to do another platform, whatever the platform happens to be, whatever their method of getting the item listed. And then if you're doing FBA, I have, like here in this example, 12 hours of FBA activity in example 1. But again, the difference in example 1 of doing pre-research versus just going in blind is very big. Very big. Because that could be the difference on how much inventory I actually acquired, because I did pre-research. And then number 2 is just showing, okay, I have a full-time job, so I can only do this business Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So how could I potentially do it if I'm doing retail arbitrage? Well, I could source after I get off work on Friday. I could source all day Saturday, meaning shopping, research, and acquiring inventory all those days. And then Sunday, while watching a game, if you're a game watcher, or if you want to watch everything that you watch on Netflix or whatever, Then Sunday, you can package up all your stuff, send it into Amazon or whatever other platform you happen to be running on. And then the last one is an example of a person that maybe has outsourced a significant amount of their business. Maybe they're using a prep center. Maybe they are using, maybe they've outsourced a lot of the activity that they would normally do. And so they're just doing research, trying to find private label products, trying to find products to private label or to white label. And so they're monitoring, they're looking at reports and whatever. So monitoring is not necessarily income producing activity, but it can stop you from losing money. Placing orders, definitely an income producing activity as long as you get the items listed and doing the research, finding those right products that are going to be moving, that are going to be hot. So, you know, that's an example of a person that's working in their business roughly about 25 hours a week. And who knows what their numbers are. They could be making $1 million a year or 2 million. But again, the most of their operations, they're not doing the physical shopping. They're not out there doing the physical shipments. They've outsourced a significant amount of that. So they've doubled who they are. In other words, maybe they're working with a prep center and there's 10 people working on pallets for them. So they've 10x themselves. That means they can do more. So they're only going to focus on the things where they're going to make the most amount of money. So I talked about getting organized. First of all, I hope that previous information was helpful. Get a schedule. That is an action item for you guys for Monday. Make sure you get a schedule. Please get a schedule. Figure out when you can really work in your business. Figure out what you can really do in the time you have allotted. If you're only able to work in your business 2 hours a day, that's fine. Write it down. 2 hours a day, 7 days a week is 14 hours in a week. That's not bad. You can do a lot with 14 hours. And at some point, you can get those numbers up, or you can shift what you do with those 14 hours so that they maybe double or triple the amount of money that you make. But again, build a real schedule. That is an action item for you for the next session. All right, so going back to getting organized. One of the things that we talk about in getting organized is definitely taking advantage of the tax breaks. I know there's been some changes over the tax law since the first time I actually built this slide. And so there's some changes now that are going into 2020. The best thing I can recommend is long-term, bigger picture. If e-commerce is for you, get an EIN. Eventually, get one. Like, don't be running this business 2 and 3 years into it and not already have an EIN established, or get your business established. Take advantage of all of the benefits of being a reseller. Get your reseller's license. That's going to be state specific. Get all of your, the reseller's license. I'm trying to think of all this stuff, but it's not coming to my head fast enough. But definitely eventually get your EIN, especially if you're making over a certain dollar amount. Amazon requires it. It requires it. So if you're only making $10 a month in sales, that tells me that this is a hobby for you because you're not consistent in your business. So if you're consistent in your business, you'll definitely make more than $10 a month. And if you want to know how to make more than $10 a month, private message me and I will help you to do that. But the key is that, you got to get more consistency. So when you get to a place where you've made over a certain threshold, you definitely should have an EIN if you're selling on Amazon. If you're selling on the other platforms, you're selling on Shopify, you're selling on eBay or Etsy or any of the other platforms, Facebook Marketplace, whatever, then, you still over time should have an EIN. You should also consider working with a tax professional, even if it's just from a consulting standpoint. If you decide you want to do your own taxes, that's fine. There are people that are successful at doing that. And there are people that are not organized enough to be able to do that. So if you are that person and you are not good at certain things, at least, get somebody else to help you with your taxes. And track your receipts. So one of the little tips that I provide or share all the time, I give it away, is that I always recommend you set up a Gmail account. Once you set up a Gmail account, you'll maybe create the account. My name is Nicole, so I would do NicoleTax@gmail.com. So whatever your name is, you can call it tax, or you can call it whatever you want. But I would create an account called NicoleTax@gmail.com. Whenever I go do retail arbitrage, shopping for profits, I would take a picture of the receipt while I'm at the cash register, if it is not a super long receipt, and I make a note at the top of the receipt, take a picture of it in my phone, and email it to NicoleTax@gmail.com. I would whenever I get invoices into my Amazon email address or eBay or Etsy or whatever platform I happen to be using, I would email or forward those invoices or purchase orders directly to NicoleTax@gmail.com. And then at the end of each month, what you have inside of NicoleTax@gmail.com is you actually have all the receipts that your accountant needs to be able to help do your taxes. Any reports that you run from Amazon or eBay or whatever platform you're selling on, you can forward those over to NicoleTax@gmail.com, and your accountant has everything that they need. They have all your receipts for all your small and big purchases. They have all of the receipts for things that you place orders online, whether it's, you're doing independent shipping or whatever the case may be. So you got your shipping invoices. You got purchase orders. If you're placing orders from wholesalers, all of that is at NicoleTax@gmail.com. And you can forward all of that to your tax accountant, or you can grant them access to NicoleTax@gmail.com. So create a Gmail account so you can keep track of your receipts. And then remember, if you're doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, or if you're doing whatever you happen to be doing, whenever you are doing something that has to do with your business, there are tax write-offs that you have the opportunity to take advantage of. Whether it is for mileage, whether it is for VAs, whether it's for supplies, you need to get a new printer, you need to get more labels, whatever it happens to be, you have the opportunity to take advantage of those write-offs. So I wanted to point that out. And then next you have e-commerce year-round. So I talked a little bit about this earlier. Certain times of the year, like you want to always buy inventory. If you're in the winter, you want to start buying inventory for the spring. If you're in the spring, you want to start acquiring inventory for the summer. At the beginning of the spring, start acquiring inventory for the summer. In the summer, start to acquire at the beginning of the summer, start to acquire inventory for the beginning of the fall. And so a perfect example would be back to school. So back to school is different in different places across the United States. And so for some people, back to school is like the middle to the end of August. But when kids are getting out of school, that's when most of us in retail arbitrage, or probably a month before kids get out of school, that's about the time that we start placing the orders with the wholesalers or whoever we're acquiring inventory from. And we're placing our orders for back to school. Because kids are typically out of school for anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks. So since they're only out of school for 10 to 12 weeks, what's going to happen? About 2 to 3 weeks before school starts, people are going to be buying school supplies. So they will literally, kids will get out of school, and then about 6 weeks later, you'll be buying back to school stuff. And it's a cycle. So take advantage of those cycles, take advantage of those waves. Those are things that are going to be inventory that will show up in the top 1%. So I have listed here holidays. I have, sporting events. There's all these football games that happened, yesterday, well, the day before yesterday, a bunch of bowl games. So there's college games. There's the Super Bowl is coming up at the beginning of February. You have the U.S. Open, the Final Four, NBA playoffs, World Series, the Masters. There's infant sales. You can hire any from 2-3 months before those activities happen and have that inventory ready. There's going to be elections. They're coming up. That is a national thing. So pay attention to that. Spring break is another one where people are going to be engaged in activities. Some people will do outdoor activities. So you'll see some of the camping stuff show up. You'll also see some of the summer stuff, like they're going to the beach. There's going to be a lot of luggage that's going to be on sale. So those are times of the year in which people are traveling. And so all travel related stuff, including the little travel refill supply packs, those are going to be now. Graduations, Mardi Gras, I mentioned some of those. And then of course, don't forget about the elections. And then each month, there's always some type of holiday or event that's happening. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Black History Month is in February. Autism Awareness Month is in April. So again, each one of, there's actually a calendar out there that says holidays every day or holidayeveryday.com, something to that effect. You can look that up. And then what movies are coming out, especially the family-friendly movies. We just came off of Frozen. Frozen's going to be around for a while. Frozen is actually going to carry all the way into February, March. So you're going to have Valentine's Day. You're going to have Frozen stuff For Easter, there's going to be frozen stuff. And then for back to school, there's going to be frozen stuff and activities for the kids to do over the summer. So Trolls is coming back around. So Trolls is going to be another one that's going to carry on for a while. And then I put award shows. So again, there's always something that somebody is wearing that's hot, that's trendy. So pay attention to that. Anything that's hot, trendy, popular now or holiday, those are going to be quick cash cows that you can get in and get out and make money all the time, in addition to the steady eddies that I mentioned before. All right, so how can you scale up your business? Here are some of the easiest ways, although I say the word easy. The simplest ways, not easy, but the simplest ways to scale your business. One, you can go into private labeling or white labeling. Private label is a product created, so your brand, you got the packaging, all of that. So private labeling a product versus white label. White label is a very common thing. So let's say we could talk about peanuts or almonds. So maybe you want to take some peanuts or almonds from, I don't know, Emeralds or Planters, and you want to stick your label on it instead of it being Planters or Emeralds and sell it yourself. That's white labeling. So white labeling and private labeling, those are profitable niches. Those are niche. If you find something specific that people are looking for, then that's number 4, which is a niche. But getting into private labeling and finding a profitable sweet spot for private label or white label, that is an actual good way to scale your business. So get familiar with the platforms, get familiar with the operations, and then work to scale your business. Drop shipping with wholesale products, again, another way to make a lot of money. On eBay, you can only do wholesale products, or they say, so if you've got other products that you sell that you already had, you can sell those as well. But if you're going to do drop shipping, they only want wholesale products. So again, having a wholesale account is going to be helpful to you. Drop shipping can make you a lot of money. A significant number of people for Shopify, about 90% of Shopify is drop shipping. People that buy stuff, 90% is drop shipping. Others, there's probably about 10% where people are making something or creating something right then. But they're drop shipping, whether they're drop shipping print on demand, whether they're drop shipping a wholesale product, they're drop shipping. And then the next one is print on demand. That is where you can take a design and slap it onto something. You can slap it onto socks, you can slap it onto pillows, you can slap it onto a coffee mug, you can slap it onto candles. Print on demand is another great way to make money. You can slap it onto notebooks. Niches and bundles, again, another good way to make money if you're really good at putting things together that makes sense. So putting a back to school bundle together and you're really good at that, putting together bundles and selling them is a great way to make some money. You can make a lot of money on back to school by putting together bundles if you're really good at it, or putting together bundles for Easter, putting together bundles for Christmas. Those are great ways to make money. Getting into niches, niches are going to be specific things that people are looking for. So during the eCom Q4 Summit, I mentioned dog leashes. Dog leashes are not anything that's fascinating or interesting or exciting. So dog leashes would be considered a niche. But if you want to niche down into something more interesting that people are looking for, to a finite type of niche, then maybe you sell dog leashes for people who walk their dogs on the beach. That is a niche. That is niching down into a specific category. And maybe it's small dogs, people who walk small dogs on the beach. You don't want to lose your dog. So that would be a niche that specific people who live near the beaches. You could target that audience. People who live near the beaches, you could target people who have small dogs and then sell those leashes to those people like hotcakes. And then automate your business, outsourcing aspects of your business when it comes to prep centers. Prep centers are centers where your inventory gets shipped to that center. They prep it. They put the Amazon labels on it. They bundle things together for you. They package it up, and then they send it on to Amazon for you, or maybe they send it directly to the customer for you. So you can automate aspects of your business, and you can outsource aspects of your business. You can outsource some of the research, the product research. You can do outsource some of the product, digging into, getting the wholesale account established. There's different pieces of your business that you can potentially outsource, so you can double your work capacity. So if you do that, you have the ability to make some more money. So those are some ways that you could actually scale your business. Creating a product, again, that would be under private label. So at the end of the day, I just want you to remember that you are the owner of your business, not somebody else, not your mentor, not your coach. You are. Everyday activity that happens in your business happens because of you, not because of somebody else. Whether you made the decision to outsource certain pieces of your business, again, different things happen in your business because of you. So the fact that you outsource, it still only happens because you outsource. It's very important that you take control of your business. Make sure that you do the homework that you need to do before the next session. And I am so glad that we had a chance to talk tonight. I hope this information was helpful. I can't wait to see you guys on Monday so we can talk about the next level of planning your business for 2020. All right, thanks. Goodbye.